Danny Jessup on your left with Grixis Death Shadow against Caleb Shear on your right with Blue-Red Gift Storm. These players will be given the green light here in just a moment, and we will be underway. It's a Polluted Delta here for Jessup, most likely falling down to 17, given the deck that he is playing.
One of the things that's impressive about Caleb doing well so often with these Storm decks is that all of his opponents know sitting down that he's on Storm.
Not taking anyone by surprise.
No, but that means they're going to be able to mulligan more accurately, you know, craft their game plan knowing what he's on, and he still does well with this deck a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's one of the more impressive things, truth be told, about Caleb is that he does play Storm across all formats, yet he's still able to continue his winning ways with the deck. 10-2 here, very much in top 8 contention this weekend in Syracuse. He will play Aspire Bluff Canals, now he'll play a copy of Serum Visions. He'll draw a card, and now he will scry 2 after consulting his hand. A Shivan Reef and a Serum Visions are the cards that he is looking at for the scry. For Jessup, you saw a Watery Grave bring him down to 17 and a sleight of hand. So Caleb might be thinking top, and he is. Shivan Reef will be the first draw that he does have as we go back over to Danny Jessup. Jessup will draw. Looks like he's got a copy of Thoughtseize that he wants to cast, so he's going to fall down to 15 and do just that. Here's the hand here for Sheer. 2 Pyretic Rituals, a Desperate Ritual, 2 Sleight of Hands, an Island, and a Manamorphose. So no cost reducer just yet.
No cost reducer, and these Sleight of Hands are really going to have to find some payoff cards. He's going to need a Gifts Ungiven or a card like that to really start to go off.
Thoughtseize is going to take care of Manamorphose, but Jessup without another land. A bit of a problem there.
Yeah, that's a dagger.
Yeah.
And there's also an interesting dynamic here where the Death Shadow player can't get too carried away, you know, dealing themselves damage, because a Grape Shot for 6 or 7 is pretty easy to do. Looks like Caleb has found what he needed.
Yeah, these cantrips doing a nice job of letting Caleb sculpt his hand. He'll pass the turn back over to Jessup. Can Jessup find land number 2? He has in Watery Grave. And there's Watery Grave, going to bring Danny down to 13. Death Shadow now 0-0. Nice. Here's Inquisition of Kozilek.
Just the right size?
Absolutely. Grape Shot, Baral. 2 Pyretics, a Desperate, and a Shivan Reef. Baral going to bite the dust.
Easy choice. And a little unfortunate for Jessup here. He needed 1 more card in order to get Tasigur on the board, or 1 less life in order to get, you know, the Death Shadow on the board.
It's got neither at this point, so his draw's a little clunky.
Sure. He wouldn't want to cast the 1/1 Death Shadow anyway.
Yeah, against the Grape Shot.
Against the known Grape Shot in his opponent's hand.
Looks like it might be Tasigur time. It is going to have to delve away the entire graveyard to do it. So there's the 4/5. Pass the turn back. Caleb will draw a card. Shivan Reef is what he's found. See which land Share wants to play here. He'll go with the Steam Vents tapped and simply pass the turn back. On the hunt for a cost reducer or Gifts Ungiven, maybe even a Past in Flames. Doesn't have any of them just yet, though. So here comes Tasigur for 4. Caleb will fall down to 16. You saw Danny draw a 3rd land there in Polluted Delta, and you can see he's got a Stubborn Denial in his hand. He'll sacrifice that Polluted Delta. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Steam Vents or a Blood Crypt here, so he has access to a little bit of red mana.
Yeah, now he's really going to have a clock on the board. He's got that 1 mana counterspell back up. This is a good spot for him.
There's Death Shadow. It's a 3/3 at the moment. Big follow-up is another Death Shadow. So Jessup has added 6 power to the battlefield, maybe even more than that. Not even clear if Caleb will get another turn, truth be told.
Yep.
But now the question is, with Jessup at 10, could Caleb maybe go for a little Grape Shot action? The answer is very clear no.
Yeah, and I think a fetch land just finishes the game off
Well,
here.
Jessup did just draw a Scalding Tarn. Magic is funny sometimes, Craig, where there are games where all you want to do is draw a spell, and there are games where you'd be really happy to draw a fetch land.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a fetch land. Here come the attacks. Jessup's going to sacrifice his fetch land. I don't think he's going to take just one.
He's going to end up attacking for 16 Xaxes
Yeah.
here.
This Steam Vent's untapped means that these Death Shadows will get +3/+3, which in reality, that Steam Vent's entering the battlefield untapped is +6/+6. Thanks a lot, Death Shadow, for attacking for so much damage. Danny Jessup going to win game number 1 here over Caleb Scheer. Grixis Death Shadow very quickly up a game here over Blue Air Giftstorm. And it's that perfect combination of cards, as you mentioned. A little bit of discard, some pretty cheap threats, and he even had a Stubborn Denial when the game ended. So Jessup, even though he stumbled and fumbled a little bit on mana there, easy victory.
Well, and we saw what we hadn't really seen in some other matches where the Storm player stumbled a little bit. He didn't have all the right pieces. He cast his Serum Visions and 2 Sleight of Hands, and he just wasn't able to establish himself with a cost reducer and a Gifts Ungiven to do everything he wanted to do.
We'll take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Caleb in the Storm deck. He's got 3 Lightning Bolts, 3 Shattering Sprees, 3 Empty the Warrens, 2 Swan Song, 2 Dismember, and 2 Pieces of the Puzzle.
We might see an Empty the Warren strategy where turn 2, he just plays 3 or 4 ritual effects and resolves Empty the Warrens to make 8 or 10 goblins. Going wide can often be quite effective against these Grixis Death Shadow decks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those cards. Swan Song as a potential counterspell to win a counter war is a possibility. Dismember is good against the 4/5s and 5/5s. So he's got a lot of options here.
For Danny Jessup, he's also got some options, and there's some good ones here. 2 Nile Spellbombs, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Collective Brutality, 2 Teamer Battle Rage, 2 Flaying Tendrils, 2 Liliana the Veil, Liliana the Last Hope, another copy of Stubborn Denial, and Engineer Explosives. So if he thinks that Caleb's going to go towards Empty the Warrens, he's got ways to beat it.
He does. The question is, how much does he want to hedge in that direction? Just having straight up discard spells is an effective way to fight back against, the Storm player and Empty the Warrens. So I would definitely say the Nile Spellbombs are coming in, the Stubborn Denial's coming in, and then there's questionable cards. The Collective Brutalities can be good. The Engineer Explosives potentially a way to deal with a lot of Empty the Warrens or take out a 2-drop cost reducer. So we might see that card. And Liliana of the Veil has a lot of versatility to it, eating the opponent's hand and being able to take out a cost reducer. So a lot of options there.
Yeah, a lot of good cards here in Jessup's sideboard as he's up a game here over Caleb. These players will shuffle up here for game number 2. Let's talk about that playmat for Grand Prix Washington, D.C., shall we? Today's August 6th, so that date's going to be relevant for you because we want you to register for the main event by the end of the day today if you plan on playing the main event Grand Prix Washington, D.C., so you can secure yourself our Hour of Devastation playmat. StarCityGames.com/GPDC is where you can go to register, learn more about that main event, those side events, an Infinite Challenge badge, our guest of honor, and our featured cosplayer, and Christine Sprinkle as well. StarCityGames.com/GPDC. Get registered today. Secure yourself that Hour of Devastation playmat.
What format are we looking at there?
I'm looking at a little standard.
Sweet.
Yeah?
Standard looks pretty sweet right now.
It is a pretty healthy format, that's for sure, as we are underway.
And it looks like people are still innovating a lot.
Yeah.
There's a GP going on this weekend.
Yeah, GP in Minneapolis taking place this weekend. It's going pretty well for a bunch of players out there. I know they're working themselves through those last couple of Swiss rounds, just like we are here. See who's going to make the top 8. Polluted Delta will be sacrificed here by Jessup. We'll see what land he wants to search up, as he's very likely to take 3.
It'd be a shock if he didn't shock himself.
That's true. There's a Watery Grave. Down to 17 he goes. For Caleb, a Spire Bluff Canal and a Sleight of Hand is how he started off his game. So we'll see what Jessup's going to start things off with. Is it a cantrip or perhaps a discard spell? It'll be a cantrip there in Serum Vision. So he'll draw a card. Picked up a Gurmag Angler, and now a Scry 2, Thought Scour ×2. See if he wants either one, neither, or just one.
They're pretty good with the Gurmag Angler he just picked up.
He could play a turn 2 5/5 pretty easily. But he's going to put them, looks like, both to the bottom. Pass the turn back. Let's go over to Caleb. Caleb with an island, simply just going to pass the turn back. Let's go over to Jessup here. Looks like maybe he kept one of those Thought Scours because that was the draw step for the turn. split the difference on the scry. Watery Grave in hand.
Sure, and he can deploy a fatty this turn if he wants to. A little fetch land, a little Thought Scour.
Yeah, if he has a fetch land, which it looks like he may, then Gurmag Angler is something that he can cast this turn. He's got 2 cards in the graveyard. Fetch land will make it 3. Thought Scour plus the 2 cards it mills are cards 4, 5, and 6. And then you've got that free mana available to play the Gurmag Angler. So a turn 2, 5/5, not tough. The question is, of course, does Caleb have Remand at the ready?
You get pretty beat up if you walk into Remand here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very possible Jessup will just take a different route. Start with the Thought Scour, see if he hits a discard spell of some sort. Maybe the Big Fish is the best option here.
Yeah.
About to see.
Big Fish. Graveyard's gone. Does it resolve? The answer appears to be yes. Peer through depths here from Caleb. He'll take a look at the top 5. He'll take an instant or sorcery with him. Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, bunch of cards that he's found. He's going to take a Desperate Ritual pretty quickly here, will Caleb. So that's going to go to the bottom. Excuse me, that's going to go to the hand. The other 4 will go to the bottom. Pardon me. Now Caleb will untap those 2 lands. He'll take his 3rd turn.
And you got to think that the Death Shadow player is kind of where he wants to be. You know, as long as he doesn't just get blown out here, he's going to be untapping with a big threat on the board. Lots of cards to work with. His mana set up. His life total's a little bit lower. It's what he wants to be doing.
Well, Caleb has played a Desperate Ritual here, so it's very clear that he's up to something.
And maybe we'll see Empty the Warrens.
Yep, he's got one in his hand.
All right, Gobos.
Yep. We'll see how good they're going to be. Here's Manamorphose. He'll go 2 red and blue now. That's spell 2.
Some Cedric Phillips tokens?
Me or Eric Smith? We're both here.
You are both here.
Yeah.
Makes for a good weekend.
Sure does. Draw a card here, will Caleb. He'll scry 2.
Probably doesn't matter what he scries to. He's going to use up almost all of his resources this turn.
Yep. Looks like 1 is going to go to the top. At least he's thinking about it. And yeah, he's going to put 1 on the top now, 1 on the bottom. Hasn't played a land yet this turn, so there's Desperate Ritual. Land. Empty the Warrens. 10 goblins.
Couple.
Huh?
Couple goblins.
Game gets a little bit more straightforward now. Either it's good or it's not. Because he's more or less all in at this stage. All right, there I am.
Nice.
10 of me.
And 1 in the booth.
Rooting for Caleb now.
Inquisition. A little late on that one.
Touch late, yeah. Touch late. Maybe not the best draw there. If I had to guess, here is Inquisition. Slide a hand down, empty the Warrens, another land, which means you can make a couple more goblins if you'd like.
2 more next turn.
Absolutely. Angler in.
Block, don't block. Doesn't matter either way here.
Well, you know, I think if I'm Caleb, I might have some interest in just a chump block. Keep my life total high. Because the way that Jess is going to win this game definitely revolves around playing a Death Shadow, as he's going to fall down to 12, and some sort of racing situation.
Sure, maybe a Temur Battle Rage.
Yeah. So here's Death Shadow, and there's Death Shadow. See, now things get a little interesting here. They're 1/1s, and Caleb has to seriously be careful.
Yeah, he has to wonder just how aggressive he wants to get here.
Because with how damage is dealt in state-based effects, what's going to happen here is if Caleb attacks with all those goblins, all right, he's got 11 of them. So he attacks 11, 2 get blocked, 9 go unblocked. 12 minus 9 is 3, but the Death Shadows, when it checks life total, they're going to be humongous. So they're not going to die from blocking the goblins.
Yep.
So 12 minus 9 is 3. 13 minus 3 means those are 10 tens?
Yep.
And he's at 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to be a little careful now. Now, he did draw a Pyretic Ritual, which means he can make 4 more goblins.
Yes.
So I think he might be okay to attack with everything
Sure.
and get Jessup down to 3. And then play Pyretic Ritual, play Empty the Warrens. Because if Jessup has an answer to these goblins, he's dead anyway.
Yes.
So, and we don't want to play any more extra turns if we don't have to. So you might as well just try to kill him, in my opinion.
And 10-10 is almost the right size to keep them at, because as long as you block all 3 creatures, a Temur Battle Rage is not going to kill you.
Yeah, very true. Very true, yes.
But then there's also the possibility that he has something like Fetch Land or a Shock Land plus Temur Battle Rage, in which case it would kill you.
Well, this attack doesn't do it at all if he's only attacking with this.
I think he's still working on it. I
Okay.
might be wrong.
Because these are just free blocks if Caleb doesn't know how the state-based effect damages work.
Yeah, attacking with 3 guys
Yeah.
is
It's literally perfect for Jessup.
yeah, it's an awkward number to be attacking with.
Yeah. It does make you wonder if Caleb knows exactly how this works with damage and state-based effects. Because, yeah, this is just a free block, and the damage that is dealt. Yeah, Caleb should lose 2 tokens there, I believe. Not just 1. We have to confirm the battlefield.
Yeah, we'll double check that.
Yeah. Yeah, so he lost 2.
There should still be 1 tap goblin.
Correct.
And again, we'll get it right.
Yeah.
So we need 1 more token.
Correct.
We did this as many ways as possible. Are we running out of Cedric Phillip tokens?
No, there's so many of me.
So how many goblins are we looking at here right now?
Oh, boy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like 11.
Okay, so we're in kind of a similar spot to last turn.
Yeah, the attack that Caleb made last turn, I did not think accomplished much of anything.
It was strange and awkward. I would have wanted to get him down low enough to where the attack the next turn would kill him.
Well, the problem here with Caleb's attack last turn, the Death Shadows don't die.
Yes.
And it's actually the perfect attack for Danny's side.
Yeah, he's only taking 1. The Death Shadows each got bigger.
Yeah.
He got 2 goblos off the board.
Yeah. And now we're in the stage where Caleb's empty-handed, and Danny just gets to do his thing. He does, assuming he brought in Engineer Explosives or Flaying Tendrils, he has answers that he can draw to.
Oh, he's just passing.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, and it looked like a push in his hand as well.
Oh, Lightning Bolt? That's an interesting draw step.
Well, that's funny. An Alpha Strike here plus a Lightning Bolt
Probably gets the game over.
would get the game over, but I think Danny has a Fatal Push in his hand. So it's going to get the game over one way or the other.
Sure. Okay. So Caleb's going to, wow, I'm surprised at this. Caleb's just going to pass.
Yeah, this is strange.
Push a token. Thoughtseize the draw.
It's kind of an awkward one.
A little bit. Is this Tasigur now?
It is.
Yep.
I'm still surprised that Gurmag Angler isn't getting frisky at least.
Both players playing very oddly conservative right now. Jessup will draw a card. Another copy of Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I think both players are thinking the same thing every time the other person passes. You're
Yeah.
like, yes, he passed, you
Yeah.
know? And then and he passes back, and the other person, yes, he passed.
Yeah. This is great.
All I need is one more free turn, you know?
Jessup's hand right now is Street Wraith, double Thoughtseize.
I definitely would have been attacking if I was either of them.
Yeah, yeah. And now we are in this weird holding pattern where neither player is too confident on what they should be doing. Now, one thing Jessup gets the ability to do, at the very least, is if we have this holding pattern, he can activate Tasigur.
Yep, and he's got an empty graveyard, so he could get some pretty sweet hits here.
Yeah, he's going to fall down to 10. Gonna search for a basic, most likely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If I were Danny, I'd be very careful with my life total now.
Now here's a Tasker activation. Does Shadow Serum Visions?
And Serum Visions is one of the more awkward cards to turn over with Tasigur. I'm really surprised to see the Death Shadow be given.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that too. I'm surprised by a lot of things that are going on in this game. Now he feels comfortable enough to attack with Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, let's get this party started.
All right. There's a fetch land. Pass the turn back. We'll go back over to Caleb, who has drawn, I think, pieces to the puzzle.
That's
I think
one of the more solid cards for him right now.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that. If that's what he has, and if that's what he's casting, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, looks like you're right.
All right, there's pieces to the puzzle. 3 mana, reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put up to 2 instant or sorcery cards from among them into your hand, and the rest into the graveyard. Grape Shot, Gifts Ungiven, Steam Vents, Spire Bluff Canal, Brawl. Well, that's easy enough. He gets Gifts and Grape Shot. Easy breezy.
And he's building up a hand here where, you know, potentially next turn he can just Grape Shot out Danny.
Well, he just cast a spell. Actually, he can just get to work now. So that's spell 1, Desperate Ritual spell 2, Bolt is spell 3, Grape Shot spell 4.
Sure.
So, yeah, he's in a pretty good spot to do this.
Yeah, if he goes for it, which he's clearly going for it.
Yeah. Bolt you. That'll knock Danny down to 7. And then Grape Shot for 4, knock him down to 3, and then this game would be
yeah,
long
there's
gone.
plenty of goblins to finish off this game.
Danny's going to cycle a Street Wraith now. Going to fall down to 8. See if he can find a Stubborn Denial. Did. Doesn't really change much. It's just another
that's more
spell.
spells,
Yeah.
and he took 2 damage from the Street Wraith.
Yeah, so it doesn't effectively do very much.
This is for 5 now?
Yeah. He goes down to 3.
Exact same spot.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all these goblins are going to attack. Yeah, we're all done here. So Caleb Sherritt's going to tie this thing up here over Danny Jessup. And it's certainly a weird second game there. Blue-Red Giftstorm and Grixis Death Shadow going to get ready here for game number 3. So you can see on Caleb's side, he's definitely boarded in some number of Lightning Bolts, some number of Empty the Warrens, at least 2 since he played 2 that game, and some number of pieces of the puzzle.
And yeah, he's saying, all right, hit me with your discard. Pieces of the puzzle is good to claw my way back in the game that way. Going wide with Empty of the Warrens is great against your deck, and Lightning Bolt just kind of keeps you honest. You know, if I'm able to storm up a little bit, you're dealing yourself a lot of damage. If I can Lightning Bolt plus Grape Shot, it's just going to steal games from you.
For Jessup, we saw Nile Spellbomb. We have to assume Collective Brutality.
Oh, yeah.
And if he didn't have Explosives and or Flame Tendrils before, I don't know how many Flame Tendrils he wants.
I think it's too narrow. The Explosives has more utility in that it can pick off the 2-mana creatures, as well as tons of tokens. So I can see that coming in, but the Flaying Tendrils just seems like it's going to be a dead card too much of the time.
Well, there are your options there for both players. Let's take a moment to learn about the StarCityGames.com YouTube page, where you can watch replays of this tournament and a whole bunch more, like Split Second, hosted by Star City's own Jeremy Knoll, the Versus Series with Brad Nelson, Tom Ross, Todd Anderson, Todd Stevens, and Ross Merriam. We got Commander Versus with Jeremy Knoll once again, along with the American Dream, Stephen Green, Jonathan Suarez, and Justin Parnell. We got Magic Online playtesting with Ari Lax, Jerry Thompson, Sam Black, Sean McLaren, and many others, and the Best of SCG Tour. Subscribe today at youtube.com/StarCityGames. Become one of over 120,000 subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you for enjoying the unique content that we do bring to that area of Star City Games. Now, we learn a little bit more about Caleb Shearer, Blue Red Gift Storm player. Is the 29-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri, who's got 3 open top 8s, 2 invitational top 8s, and a W that qualified him for the Players' Championship a couple of years ago. He's a graduate student in mathematics working on differential geometry. He loves living out of that backpack, and his diet consists almost entirely of peanuts.
No.
The 29-year-old.
It says entirely.
I've seen him eat other things.
Entirely
I've
peanuts.
seen him eat other things, I swear.
So we can infer out of this, if he lives out of his backpack and his diet consists entirely of peanuts, it's probably safe to assume that his backpack is filled with peanuts.
Or made of peanuts.
I've never seen anything made of peanuts. So
You haven't gotten out much, have you?
I've gotten out a good bit. I don't think there's many things made of peanuts out there.
Life will surprise you.
Your conclusions seem a little more abstract than mine.
Generally how things go.
Okay. You're the creative one?
For some things.
Sure.
Not all things, but for some things. A Watery Grave, bringing Danny down to 17, thanks to that Scalding Tarn. And a Serum Visions is how we will kick things off here for game number 3 of round 13.
And we see that engineered explosives in his hand.
And
a Flaying Tendrils.
Yep.
Pretty lucky that he gets to put that bad boy on the bottom here.
Yeah. Because EE is much better at taking care of the goblins than Flaying Tendrils is, obviously.
Yes, and you don't want redundant copies of stuff like that.
Here's a Serum Visions. Peer Through Depths is the draw, and now there will be a little scry too. Lightning Bolt among the cards that Caleb is looking at for the scry.
Yeah, he might have interest in both or neither, depending on the contents of his hand.
Well, he's put both in the bottom. We head back over to Danny Jessup, who's picked up a copy of Street Race, so perhaps his turn will start there.
Yeah, there's a question of if he wants to fetch first, just thin one more land out of his deck. Looks like he might have multiple Street Race.
It's a Thoughtseize. It's going to bring Jessup down to 15. Working on that life total. You see Empty the Warrens. You see Dismember. Sleight of Hand, Peer Through Depths. Pyretic, and Desperate. So Caleb's plan is very obvious.
Yeah.
And Danny can walk him right into it if he wants.
Well, and this hand has a bit of everything. It's possible you just want to take the Sleight of Hand here because Caleb needs another mana real bad. And yeah, as you said, Danny can try to leave him with just enough to expend all his resources, casting and Empty the Warrens, and have the answer in his hand. Sleight of Hand it is.
Yep, I like that take.
And if you're Danny right now, you're going, draw the mountain, draw the mountain, draw the mountain.
Yeah. Draw the land, go for it. Jessup doing a little bit of math here, maybe posturing. As he'll sacrifice, maybe. He's going to start by cycling Street Wraith.
Yeah, he actually has lots of ways to deal himself damage with 2 Street Wraiths and a fetch land.
Yeah, I picked up a Gurmag Angler.
And it kind of sucks. He wants to play an Angler, but he knows about the -5/-5 on the other side in Dismember. Because if Caleb doesn't draw a land, he's giving him just the best free play possible in dismembering a Gurmag Angler.
Down to 8. Snapcaster Mage. And Gurmag Angler. Okay. Caleb will draw Serum Visions.
That's an interesting one. My guess is he just dismembers here.
Just kills the angler, keeps moving.
Yeah, I like keeping the pressure off the board. Obviously, if Danny had a Death Shadow, he might have played it that turn. Maybe not into the dismember.
Yeah, I think if I'm Caleb there, I just want to get the creature off the battlefield. Pass the turn back, Will Jessup.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation. Danny does not want to deal himself any more damage.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't want to deal with Grape Shot. Doesn't want to deal with Lightning Bolts.
Stubborn Denial will take care of that Serum Vision. Jessup will play a Swamp, pass the turn back. Caleb has finally drawn a second land, though it's not red. I'm curious to see if he wants to go to Baral or not. He's going to go for Peer Through Depths instead. Jessup will draw a Nile Spellbomb that he'll play. He'll crack this now. Draw a card. Thought Scour. He'll Thought Scour now. Target himself. 1 is a Snapcaster Mage. 2 is a Tasigur. Draw a card, Will Jessup, into a Street Wraith. I don't know if I want to cycle that one.
He's getting down there, but Caleb does not have a red source yet.
All right, 6 we go.
It's kind of important for Danny just to get some pressure on the board.
Mm-hmm. Play a Delta. Pass. Caleb will play a Peer Through Depths. 2, 3, 4, 5. None of them are a Grape Shot. One of them is a Sleight of Hand. Could have taken Manamorphose. Elected not to.
Still doesn't have red sources.
Yep. Time to draw a card. Manamorphose. Here's Sleight of Hand. 1, 2. Brawls. Well, the choice is easy.
The brothers Baral.
Indeed. Pass that turn back. Jessup makes that out of that turn alive.
Ooh, are we going to 5?
Boy. That answer your question?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. How low can you go? How low can you go?
Oh, he can go low.
Yeah.
He could go to 3 if he wanted to.
I don't know if I'm feeling that.
Not that adventurous.
No, I'm a coward. I readily admit that.
Yeah, Danny just really needs to find a piece of pressure here. He's got the Snapcaster Mage with the Stubborn Denial in the graveyard. Another Stubborn Denial in his hand. You know, it looks like he's thinking about just casting the Snapcaster Mage and Thought Scouring himself again, draw another card.
Oh, there's the Thought Scour. Snap. Inquisition.
Big boy.
Inquisition's not bad.
Not bad.
Caleb's going to fan him out.
He has everything.
2 Barals, 2 Pyretics, a Desperate, a Manamorphose, and an Empty the Warrens is the hand there for Caleb Shear. And we're going to poke a hole in the Baral game.
Yeah, it's a fatal push for the other Brawl, so he's going to be able to deal with both of them. I feel like he is kind of tipping his hand a little bit when he doesn't take Empty the Warrens.
Well, he can't take Empty with Inquisition.
Oh, sure, it costs 4.
Yeah.
My fault.
That's okay.
Well, and Baral lines up well against the 2-1 that he just played.
I am so interested in, I was very interested in taking a Manamorphose there.
Sure.
I think that's the best card in Caleb's hand right now. Here's an attack for 2. Shivan Reef.
There it is.
He was going to draw one eventually, right?
Yeah. And this is actually, again, best possible for Danny here.
Yeah. It really is. Danny's been sitting on the Engineered Explosives all game long.
Well, but with Danny at 5, we might see Caleb not use everything here.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have to shove all the way in, right? He can definitely slow down a little bit here. Here's Desperate Ritual.
Well, it looks like he is going to move in.
Yeah, Manamorphose. Let's see if he draws Grape Shot off this. Another Empty. He's got a lightning bolt, 2 empties.
Yeah, looks like he's thinking about this bolt.
Yep. Puts you down at 2.
I actually don't like this.
I don't like this either.
Yeah,
I mean, we're working with perfect info.
Yes, we are, but outside of a sweeper, Danny's not going to be able to deal with 6 goblins.
Yeah, let alone 12.
Yeah, so
what have you. Yeah.
You know, there's just no reason to make all of them.
Yep. 6 or 8 would have been good, but truth be told, because he had a lightning bolt in his hand, 4 may have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also like saving the lightning bolt in the hand just because then Danny has more opportunities to make mistakes.
Yep. So all those goblins get blown up by the engineer explosive. Snapcaster kind of come across. Caleb will draw a card. Picked up the pieces to the puzzle. What a huge draw, but I think Danny's got a stubborn denial, and if he does, you got to counter this.
Yeah, I would expect him to counter this. You can't let your opponent just find another lightning bolt.
Yeah. This is just, for me, this is too many looks at it.
Well, I wonder if he's thinking about Snapcaster stubborn denial here.
Which is also fine with me.
Yeah, I like this. Just get a little more pressure on the board.
Yeah. Try to shorten this game as their stubborn denial. Tap and pass will Caleb. We're going to go back over to Jessup, who will draw a Death Shadow, which is certainly, I think that's the check mark on the game, folks, because there's Death Shadow with a stubborn denial in hand, which is a hard counter. Obviously, Death Shadow is enormous. The draw here is a Desperate Ritual. Caleb will take 1 to play said Desperate Ritual. And if you're Danny, you can actually safely counter this because whatever comes, there's nothing that can come after this that you're scared of.
Correct. 1 blue in play, so he's not going to be able to cast a lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm. So there's stubborn denial that he's basically flashing Caleb, and he's just trying to figure out, am I supposed to cast this? He will, and that is going to do it.
Yep.
Danny Jessup's going to win this match over Caleb Scherer 2 games to 1. Grixis Death Shadow will take care of Blue-Red Gift Storm.